Resistance against the Nazis was an expression of faith, that is, a lesson in how the human spirit can never be finally extinguished. Others, in more privileged circumstances, expressed their spirit as resistance to the whole idea of war. One of these was the composer Michael Tippett, who served a short prison sentence as a conscientious objector. 2 days after the war broke out, Tippett started this composition, A Child of Our Time. The child in the title was a distracted young Jewish refugee living in Paris in 1938, who responded to the news that his parents had been deported from Germany by shooting a Nazi diplomat, an assassination used by the Nazis to justify an orgy of destruction and murder known as Kristallnacht. In March 1944, A Child of Our Time had its premiere in London. It was Tippett's first significant public success.
Tippett's pacifism was obviously extremely important to him and affected everything he did. Not just his artistic work, but I guess his career as well, his professional career. Can you tell me something about how pacifism affected him?
Well, I think it's not just a matter of pacifism as his anger at injustice and inequality generally. A Child of Our Time, for me, it's one of the great pieces of not so much witnessing as universalizing the conflict and the results of the conflict. And for me, what I find so moving in it is that it takes 500 years of English-speaking music and welds them together, because there's a lot of music that sounds as though it could have come from the Renaissance time, which Tippett was very interested in.
How much then do you think Tippett was influenced by earlier masterpieces like Bach's Passions or the Messiah?
Tippett took the examples of the Bach's Passions or the Messiah, for instance, in the idea of soloists both telling the story and being figures in the story, of the chorus sometimes asking questions and sometimes again bearing witness. And the Bach Passions make great play of the hymn tunes, the chorales that were known at the time, and in their place came Negro spirituals, which is just one of those great bits of inspiration that one has no idea where they came from. When I was 9 or 10 years old, I walked in to the Liverpool Philharmonic Hall and I heard this piece being rehearsed by Sir Charles Groves, from whom so many of my great musical experiences came as a child. And I walked in just before the first spiritual was to be sung, this haunting soprano solo, and then Steal Away steals in. And maybe it was the first time in my life that I realized that music could make you cry so directly. And I badgered and badgered my parents to take me to the evening concert. I'm not sure whether they knew what they were getting into. And I can remember looking at them as Steal Away began and seeing that all three of us were in tears.
Is music like this effective as an anti-war statement?
I'd think music deals with things that are much larger than that. Everybody will take from music, and indeed all art, whatever they need. One of the things that most alarmed people after the war was to find that many of the Nazi elite were enormously cultured men. They would read Goethe, they would listen to Schubert and Beethoven string quartets. They were still able to act in a way that people of that time were not even willing to understand any human being could act. And so there was a feeling, can there be any art again after Auschwitz? That was what Adorno said, what many other people echoed. And of course the answer is that there always will be, because the art and music will always bear witness to the resurgence of the human spirit. And thank God for that.